Let me tell you something most people will never admit. You don't think you're a genius, but you do think you're smarter than most people in the room. And that quiet assumption? That's exactly what makes you easy to outplay. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The average person believes they're above average, not just a little, significantly. Better judgment, better logic, better awareness, which is mathematically impossible, yet psychologically universal. And the moment you believe you're not like the others, you stop checking yourself. That's when mistakes become invisible. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Picture a meeting. You hear an idea you disagree with. Before the person finishes explaining, your mind already reacts. That's flawed. They don't see the bigger picture. I've thought this through already. You nod politely, but internally, you're done listening. And that's the trap. Not stupidity, confidence without verification. Overestimating your intelligence doesn't make you loud, it makes you prematurely certain. And certainty shuts down learning. Here's what most people don't understand about intelligence. Real intelligence is slow. It hesitates, it double-checks. Fake intelligence rushes to conclusions because it wants closure. That's why the smartest people in the room often speak last, and the most confident speak first. Now let's take this deeper. Have you ever noticed how people explain their failures? I was unlucky. They sabotaged me. The timing was wrong. But when they succeed, that was my strategy. I saw it coming. I knew exactly what I was doing. Same person, same brain. Two completely different explanations. This isn't confidence, it's ego protecting a fragile self-image. And the more someone believes they're intelligent, the more allergic they become to feedback. Because feedback implies something unbearable. That they missed something. That someone else saw what they didn't. That intelligence, the thing they quietly identify with, might not be as solid as they think. So instead of updating their thinking, they defend it. They argue semantics, they nitpick details, they change the subject, not to win, but to avoid looking foolish. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Overestimating your intelligence makes you predictable. Why? Because manipulators don't challenge you directly. They agree with you. They let you feel smart. They say things like, "You're one of the few who really gets this." Most people can't think at your level. That's exactly what I was thinking. And just like that, your guard disappears. You stop questioning their motives. You stop checking assumptions. You stop verifying facts. Because your ego feels fed. That's not persuasion, that's seduction. Now look at workplaces. Why do smart people stay stuck? Because they think competence alone should be enough. They underestimate politics. They underestimate perception. They underestimate timing. They believe intelligence wins by default. Meanwhile, less intelligent, but more strategic, people rise faster. Not because they're better thinkers, but because they understand how humans actually work. Here's the brutal reality. Intelligence doesn't protect you from bias. It hides bias better. Smart people don't make fewer mistakes. They make more sophisticated justifications for them. They don't say, "I was wrong." They say, "It's more nuanced than that." They don't say, "I missed something." They say, "There were external variables." Language becomes camouflage, and the higher your intelligence, the easier it is to lie convincingly, to others and to yourself. Now let me flip the lens back on you. When was the last time you genuinely changed your mind? Not adjusted your opinion, not added a footnote, but abandoned a belief? If you can't remember, that's not because you're always right. It's because your identity is invested in being intelligent, and identities hate revision. This is why real power begins with intellectual humility, not fake humility, not "I'm always learning" slogans. but the willingness to say, I don't know yet. I need more information. I might be wrong. Those words are terrifying to the ego and lethal to manipulation. Because the moment you stop assuming you're smarter than others, you start seeing patterns they rely on. You notice incentives. You notice framing. You notice emotional pressure. And suddenly, the game slows down. That's when intelligence becomes dangerous. Not when it feels good, but when it stays uncomfortable. Stay sharp.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the original books and resources we used today. We'll see you in the next one.